Welcome back to Aussie Wristwatch. I'm Jessica Liley, your host. This is my channel where I like to talk about watches and learn something new. Now, first things first, because I always forget, and I've been asked a number of times now to do a wrist check. So today, I am wearing my moon swatch, and I'm also wearing it with a Horus strap. It's new. It's like a camo green. It actually looks pretty funky. I've got the rings of Saturn on, mission to Saturn, whatever you want to call it. I'm still loving this watch. I think I talked quite a bit about the whole bioceramic plastic thing. It definitely is a plastic watch now. I've changed my view on that, but who cares? It's a swatch. But it's still a lot of fun. I love it. It's super light. It's super funky. And that is my watch today. And today, again, I thought I'd delve back into Rolex because you guys can't get enough of it. So I am happy to oblige, let's face it. And I thought I'd have a little look at like another alternative to the Rolex Oyster Perpetual. And again, I'm not suggesting that this is an alternative in the sense it's a straight swap for a Rolex. I am suggesting this watch on the basis that you might not be able to afford the Rolex Oyster Perpetual, or you simply cannot get one and you like the look and you're happy to get something as a cheaper alternative. So before we get cracking into that today, hit the like button, please subscribe. I'm getting in there early because we all have a short attention span, and let's roll that intro. Today we are going to talk about Citizen. Now, we know that I make these to learn something about watches, and you know, I'm a humble channel of beginnings. I'm getting some really fabulous support, thank you. But I do also have to make content that people want to watch, and people really want to watch stuff about Rolex. Which is fine because I actually don't know that much about Rolex, so I've been able to learn a great deal in the process, including alternatives. And there are lots of brands out there. You'll see I did a Seiko alternative to the Perpetual not that long ago, which was really popular. And it was just a really great entry level, around $400 watch that people kind of see as a very cheaper alternative. And so this Citizen watch is along those same lines. And today we're going to talk about it, and specifically the NJ0155 series. Now the series comes in a series of colors, and we're going to go through them all today. But I think this watch is pretty cool for what it is and for the price point. I'm not suggesting it's going to really get that Rolex itch for you. If you absolutely have to have a Rolex Oyster Perpetual, then you absolutely have to save if you need to save, or just go out and buy that watch, because I don't think this watch or any watch is going to satisfy an itch for a watch that you absolutely feel you must have. But this is just basically an alternative to that watch. If you like the look of that watch and don't want to spend that kind of money, this could be the watch for you. So, as I said, I talked about the Seiko 5 as the Rolex killer, and this, you know, I think is kind of along those lines. Now, Citizen are better known for their Eco Drive quartz watches that basically last forever, which is pretty cool. However, they're also the founder of the Miyota movement, which this is a new fact, guys, I didn't know this. Everyone else probably knows this, is going to comment and go, here we go again, she didn't know this, or yes, Jess, blah, 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 thank you. But no, I didn't know that this was the case. And I've seen like the Miyota movement now in my research on other watches a number of times. So I was like, whoa, that's a revelation. So most recently, Citizen launched a very accessible steel sports watch called the Tsuyosa, and I've probably got that wrong. Tsuyosa, who knows? Automatic. It's the Tsuyosa Automatic. Let's just leave it at that. And if I've got it wrong, someone will phonetically spell it out to me in the comments. I know for sure. Look, in the late 1950s, Citizen started the Miyota factory and began producing movements in Miyota, Japan, hence the name. And by the 1980s, the Miyota was the industry's top movement manufacturer and had the highest production ever of some movements. It said that they were in the billions. It's a lot of watches, right? Now, it isn't just Japanese movements. It owns several brands. So it owns Frederic Constantin. I don't know why do I keep saying Frederic Constantin. Frederic Constant, Alpina, Arnold & Son, Bulova, and La Joux-Perret, which is a luxury Swiss movement manufacturer. The other thing to note about Citizen is they're kind of considered the department store king. Now, even with the most accurate movements in the world, the Eco Drive caliber is plus or minus a second a year. Citizen is still generally regarded as an inexpensive quartz watch. Now, they're actually looking to add higher end caliber or pedigree to all of that with their lineup, and this I know I've gotten this wrong. The Tsuyosa Automatic joins that race. So these watches, whilst mostly sold, are readily available online for similar price points to their original, so about 650 AUD. So what I'm saying is they've sold out in terms of their first run or whatever you want to call it, but you can get them online either secondhand or through an alternative dealer still. So they're still what I would regard as readily available. And the specifications are this. Stainless steel case is 44 millimeter in diameter, 11.7 millimeter in height, which some say is pretty ideal for a sports watch. You know, you guys know me, 40 mil for me is probably on the smaller side of what I would wear. I think that's roughly similar size, which also looks totally fine, by the way. I just, I wear a Panerai. The Omega I've got is 43.5 mil, so I do like a bigger watch, but I am not locked into just that. So, and it's similar to the Seiko 5 models. The crown is positioned at 4 o'clock and pushes almost flush with the case. There's a slight notch underneath to pull it to set the date and time, but it's a bit of form over function. It's not impossible to wind it, and there's nothing to grip and fiddly to pull out. It does look sleek. And it's got a sapphire crystal with a date magnifier that protects the dial. So, I mean, is that a little bit of a nod to the Rolex and that Cyclops window, which I actually don't love, by the way? I know people have a very love-hate relationship with the Cyclops window, and I can totally understand why. It's water resistant to 50 meters, I should say, and it's an 8-10 caliber with an automatic movement. So it's not quartz. The date feature is at 3 p.m. It comes with a stainless steel bracelet with an exhibition case back and sapphire glass face. So that's pretty cool, right? And it's also got luminous hands for you. The colors are blue, green, white, yellow, grey, and I've since discovered like a black camo type dial out there, which I'm mad for a bit of camouflage. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I love the military or something, but I mean, I have camouflage hats, I've got camouflage shirts, jackets. I mean, so why not have a camouflage watch? I'm wearing a camouflage wristband as we speak, actually, which is completely coincidental to that little aside. Now, so the in-house automatic, so it's powered by the Citizen Tsuyosa, and the caliber, as I said, was an 810. So it's basically Citizen's version of the Miyota 8218 and like. The difference is that only Citizen watches use the caliber 8-10, having a dyslexic moment, and other brands can purchase the Miyota counterparts. Okay, so that's fair enough. So if you're a Citizen watch, your claim to fame is the caliber 8210. And if you're a non-Citizen watch, you can basically have the same caliber, but it's called the Miyota caliber. And it's found, for example, it's found in the Panzera watches that I've reviewed. Just quickly touch on the Rolex Oyster Showy and the Perpetual, which comes in various sizes, around 28 mil to I think it's 41 mil. Price points around $7,000 to $9,000, and you guys have, if you haven't already, watch my Rolex rant. There's 2 parts to it. Part 2 kind of clarifies part 1. Part 1 was whiny because I was pretty annoyed. But at the end of the day, what I was trying to say is a few things. A, anyone should be able to walk into a store and try on a watch they're thinking of buying. yes, I understand the availability and the exclusivity of the Rolex models. Never expected to try one on, drop my money and walk out with a GMT or a Sub or whatever, or a Daytona. That wasn't the issue at all. It was being told because I only liked those watches that Rolex weren't for me. I mean, that's just a bunch of bullshit if you ask me. And I don't want to play the game. So I don't want to buy this Rolex Oyster Perpetual, for example, which I think is a beautiful classic watch, but I don't actually want to own one and spend $9,000 on. I don't want to buy that watch just to sort of start a relationship with a watch brand. I think that's fucking stupid. But again, that is my opinion, and it's not for everyone. Some people are happy to do that. So I'm cool with that too. So that's all I'm saying there. But I don't want people to think I think every Rolex except the most popular ones are shit, because that's not what I was saying. And that's not what I'm saying. I think the Rolex Oyster Perpetual is a brilliant watch. Will I have one in my collection one day? I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I'd have to have like oodles and oodles of money, and I've got a whole heap of other watches that are on my list at varying price points, mind you, before I actually went down that path. If someone gifted me that watch, sure, I'd have it and I'd keep it in the collection. But I think you get the drift, right? So the Citizen watch, if you love that look of the Rolex Oyster Perpetual and just a classic sporty steel watch, the Citizen might be a great alternative for you at like thousands and thousands of dollars less than the Rolex. In fact, it's under $1,000, period. And it's a solid classic watch that they've developed to appeal to a specific market that likes that, I think, streamlined elegance of that sports watch. And that's what I think is great about this watch. It's like the other Rolex killer I talk about, the Seiko 5. It's the same ethos, right? It's just giving people an alternative to a very expensive watch at an affordable price bracket for a lot of people. And like I said, like I probably would have skipped over a lot of those Kenneth Coles and earlier models of watches that I bought that I thought looked great and I thought were elegant, had fitted my price point many, many years ago. But perhaps if I knew a little bit more about watches back then and the quality of a watch and even just the movement, I probably would have gone for a watch like this instead, or, you know, whatever was available at the time in that bracket. So that's why I want to do these videos, to help the novice like me 15 years ago. But yeah, I mean, you guys tell me. The other thing that I think makes this pop, this watch pop, is the bracelet. It's basically got a president bracelet. So what is that, do you ask? Because I had to look it up. Because again, this is all about the learning. So the president bracelet was first launched by Rolex in 1956, and specifically it was created for the release of the new Oyster Perpetual day date. The bracelet was always meant to be a Rolex exclusive because it's elegant metal and it's only made from full precious metal. It's basically, the look-wise, it's basically a mix between their Oyster and their Jubilee. So not a really fat link and not a really skinny round link, a mix. And that's what this Citizen bracelet is, the President bracelet. So it's kind of, again, a nod back to Rolex. So if there's any watch out there that, other than the Seiko we've already talked about, that's really kind of trying to put in a whole heap of style influences from a classic Rolex, it's got to be this watch, right? It's fun and it's elegant, and I happily have one in the collection. But again, like, there's so many watches I love, I have to stop myself from just logging online and going, buy. That's the only reason it's not in the collection. So go check it out and let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think I'm on some kind of crazy tangent, or but I'm going to continue, I think, to make these videos as and when I sort of get the urge or find an alternative out there. I've done the Daytona. It's either going to be up or it's coming soon by the time you see this video. And again, I kind of like the idea of discovering watches that are at that very much affordable price point, because I mean, some people wait their whole life to just buy one luxury watch. So, you know, if we can get a few others in there at a much littler price, I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, again, please, if you've enjoyed this video, please like it. Smash the like button, indeed. Encourage your friends to do it. Send them the link. Do whatever you need to get Aussie wristwatch out there. Thank you for your support. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Love the support. I love the comments. Love it. I read them all. I actually try to comment for all of them. I'm sure one day when I'm privileged enough with you guys, I probably won't be able to do that, but I'll still make sure to read all or most and then comment in some way, shape or form, whether it's through Friday Fact Check. In the meantime, have a great week, guys. Until next time.